Hey folks, Sarah here. Just wanted to drop by and let you know that we are completely aware of the audio quality. In the first 18 minutes or so of the show, there were some recording difficulties at my end, so massive apologies for that. Phil has done his very best to edit it back to life, and you'll be pleased to know that from 18 minutes on, it goes back to normal sound quality. Thanks for listening.
Hello everyone and welcome to episode 98 of Radio Gore Press. Guys, the gang's back here. We're all together again.
Yay! The gang's all here!
Yay!
Yeah.
Am I part of the gang?
Yeah.
Of course.
Wait, do you have to ask?
Well, I just... maybe? I'm feeling very insecure.
Oh, you are forever and always part of the gang.
You're like
Lizzie.
leader of the gang, let's be honest.
Definitely, yeah.
The leader of the pack. Rum, rum.
Exactly.
I do not want to be affiliated with that song.
Oh, new job for you, see, since you're the artist.
Oh, no. I don't like jobs.
Oh.
No jobs.
We need matching jackets. That we've established we are, in fact, a gang.
Okay, so are we talking like leather... PU leather jackets, or are we talking like the satin ones with, you know, like
full-on pink ladies?
Or like we could do a mix of like satin, but like a baseball jacket, and then have a patch on the back of it. I think that'd look fucking sweet.
Heck yeah, I'm in.
Heck yeah, that's our motto. Heck yeah.
Radio Gore Press. Heck yeah.
You are welcome.
Sorted. Sold. I'm in.
Excellent.
In all ways. How is everybody doing? I haven't been here for a while.
Oh,
I had to take a break because I went crazy.
Very crushing existentialism, largely. How are you?
Babe, same.
Everything's
same. Like, I always laughed at the channel like everything is terrible because I was like, oh, the past was so shit. And just, I mean, look around.
Yeah. Gestures vaguely.
Mm-hmm. Look the fuck around. I mean, the only bright spot that I can see in like a mire of terribleness is Kamala Harris and Amanda Gordon with that poem that she read for the inauguration. Like, fuck me, that was incredible.
There are definitely some bright spots if you know where to look.
But I've been looking. This wine is a bright spot as well.
I'm a bit jealous. I would like a wine.
It's a tiny wine. I broke my wine glasses, so I'm having to use
on purpose
the sad ones.
In a rage or by accident?
Oh no, Forks broke one. He jumped up on the fridge and with his dummy thick ass, he knocked the glasses off.
Cat-related incident. Say no more.
Cats,
of
go
course.
Cat.
Of course. It's only cats that have wine-related incidents, of course. Phil, how you doing?
Yeah, good. Similarly crushed under the weight of the existentialism, but just trucking on.
You got to have a laugh, yeah.
I mean, getting very bored of lockdown.
Find things to laugh about.
You
missing people, missing doing stuff.
Oh my god! I had to collect a parcel from one of my neighbours at work today. I realised it was like the first person I'd interacted with in fuck knows how long, and I had completely forgotten how to human.
It's genuinely terrifying, isn't it?
And I definitely overstayed my welcome, asking how she was doing and how they were getting on. Why I attempted conversation, because when I got back to the office, I had like legit heart palpitations. I was like, how does one do this?
I think that I'm really worried that not only are we currently raising a generation of just completely unsocialized children,
as if enough.
we're also forgetting, like you said, how to fucking human, how to talk to people. Like everything is so awkward at the moment. Tesco's guy comes to the front door and I'm like, hi, how are you? How are the kids? And he's like, this is not an appropriate interaction. Take your fucking cauliflower and go. I'm like, do you want to come in for a cuppa? No? Keep your mask on, just drink through it. It'll be fine. Like, I can't explain how much I love my parents. Like, I'm fine with living with my parents. I am moving out soon. It's very exciting. But just, they tend to keep to themselves, like downstairs, and I'm up here. And like, even seeing them, I'm fucking weird at them just all the time.
Yeah.
And it's nothing's right. Nothing's. It's like we've been dropped into an alternate dimension.
It really is. Obviously, you guys know I live alone and I work with one other person, and we don't communicate that much on a good day. So I can't rely on him.
Matt ain't a talker.
It's going to be an absolute disaster.
Have you been listening to a lot of podcasts?
Oh, heck yeah. Heck yeah.
Heck yeah.
I told you.
Radio Gore Press.
This is sticking now. Yeah, I have 2 recommendations, actually. This is probably more of a mini-sode topic, but since you brought it up...
Is it heck and yeah?
It isn't, no. I am about halfway through one called Chameleon, Hollywood Con Queen, which is incredibly compelling. I'm racing through that. They're only about sort of half an hour to 40-minute episodes, so easy to get through. And the other thing is The Dropout. I just finished listening to that one as well. It's a podcast about Elizabeth Holmes and Theranos and the huge fraudulent disaster that was.
Sorry, who?
She was somebody who worked in Silicon Valley and I think she was named the youngest self-made female billionaire at one point. But her tech was all completely fraudulent. And she coasted.
What, like it just didn't exist?
They were trying, but ultimately they were making promises that they couldn't fulfill. And she coasted on confidence and self-belief for a long time and a lot of people out of a lot of money. It's really interesting.
They were writing checks with their mouth that their ass couldn't cash.
Indeed.
That's one of my favourite phrases.
But she's currently awaiting trial, I believe. So
That's
it'll be
insane.
interesting to see how that plays out. She may get up to 20 years.
For being a terrible entrepreneur.
Big fat dirty lie.
For
And
being
for being a
reach
pretentious
nipper.
twat who modelled herself on Steve
that-
Jobs down to the black turtleneck. It is so cringe.
Oh,
and
no.
the receding hairline.
I don't know about that.
As if it wasn't obvious that she was fraudulent enough as it is.
And something wears the same top every day so that their brain space has more time for thinking. I'm sorry, the amount of time it takes to pick an item of clothing. Like, if you need to cut down on that in order to maximise your brain space, there ain't a lot of brain space going on.
Quite. It's especially easy in lockdown. Which t-shirt and pair of jogging bottoms will I wear today?
Yeah.
If I get dressed.
I can't rock up to the office in my pajamas
Shall
as
I
much
wear
as I'd
my
like to.
nighttime pajamas, my daytime pajamas today?
All right, won't. Right.
I dare you to go to work in a kigurumi.
All right.
It'd be comfy as shit. It's the best dare ever.
I accept that.
Yes! You're thinking about it. You're like, which one? Which one shall I pick?
I think I've only got one left.
Is it the Pikachu one?
Which one?
No, I had the penguin one. No, it wasn't a penguin, was it? It was a dog one that you got me.
Yeah,
The black and white.
it was meant to
supposed
be.
to be a penguin.
It was
yeah.
meant to be a penguin, and it turned up, and it was a pug,
It's still cute.
or like a French bulldog or
It's still
something.
cute and it's still comfy. And if I have to wear it to work,
But
then
I opened it up, and it was black and white, and I was like, "Oh, that's the right one." No,
it's close enough.
no, it's not. Penguin, pug,
Exactly.
both begin with P.
That's all that matters. So we thought we'd try and claw back some sort of semblance of enjoyment and happiness from last week's episode.
Hey,
Oh no!
I thoroughly enjoyed that show. Oh, how? Philip.
The show was good.
Oh, the
The
film dramatic as
film.
fuck, and I never want to watch it again. Yeah.
Oh, was it?
It was.
It was Cannibal Holocaust, wasn't it?
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Well, which is one
we made
reason.
Made a good decision in picking that film when we did then.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I think that was the entire reason that film got picked, because I was like, nah, no, not interested.
No, I already subjected you to Climax.
Which, you know, like, was fine. It was harrowing, but like I haven't lost any sleep over it.
My brain broke a bit then. I forgot that Climax was a film. And all of a sudden, Sarah going, I subjected you to Climax.
Well, I mean,
I'm like, what?
the film Climax isn't the only climax she's subjected me to.
Stop saying subjected.
Like,
I like to
I
think.
wasn't sure whether I was more thrown by the use of the word subjected or just the content of the entire
The
sentence.
word subjected is most offensive.
What about inflicted?
I am a biscuit away from storming out of this room in a huff. Don't make me rage quit the podcast. We're only 10 minutes in.
See ya. Oh no. And I can't remember what happened during the film, so I need you, Sarah.
I can't remember
need
what
you.
happened during the film.
There is a chance
This is going
that
to be great.
there is a chance that during this film, me and Sarah were both on our phones messaging each other about the film, which should have resulted in us both having a lot to say about it. And yet somehow, neither of us can remember what happened.
I have a vague
So-
idea.
Fun show
Strap yourselves in,
incoming.
guys. So we picked this week to cover 97's Wishmaster. Or, as we decided just before the episode, Wisham
No, it's-
Aster, which is
it's
Ari Aster's brother.
Harry Aster? Harry
Aster.
Aster?
Arster.
How dare? Ari Aster. Sitting in the grass.
Whichever one is true.
Oh no. And actually, I believe there was a character in the opening part of this film called Zoroaster, who I assume is a cousin. I can't be sure, but
And it's maybe an estranged sibling. Zoroaster. Wait, who was that?
He was the one with like the wide black brimmed
I
hat and
fair
the
watched it.
fencing
We're all good.
sword.
Don't... No, he's talking
I
about
was just describing
Zorro.
Zorro.
I know who Zorro is.
This is a disaster already. This is a fucking nightmare.
Of course it is.
Phil, which one was Zorro?
In the film or just the character itself?
For fuck's sakes.
I have no idea which was.
So the Mask of Zoroaster. Carry
Yes,
on.
That's
that
the one.
guy. Zorro.
I've got no idea who it was.
Zoroaster.
Mhm.
For God's sake.
I mean, the film starts in a way that made me think of a very Indiana Jonesy beginning. I thought,
A little bit.
like the way it was filmed and the kind of slightly musty air, and obviously all of like the artifacts and stuff they were lying about.
Mm.
I think that I'm just going to come out and say it. My main problem with the film in its entirety is that's not how you make a crystal.
Was it a crystal?
It was a fire opal.
A fire opal. Okay.
Yeah. That's not how you make a fire. You don't just like get some paprika and turmeric and melt it and pour it into a mold and then a fire opal comes out.
Is that
That's Minecraft shit. That's not real life.
That's very disappointing. So I cannot make precious gems in my kitchen.
You can fucking try.
I might. Hearing me.
Do you-
How many more things you can add?
do you have many spices in little pinch pots and a furnace?
I don't have a furnace. No, I am lacking. I'm furnaceless.
You got a microwave?
I might do. Yeah. I've got.
Just mix them up in an egg
I've got
cup.
a rice cooker. I'll just toss it in that. It'll be fine.
It'll take longer, but I
Yeah.
reckon it'd work.
Yeah.
The entire film's fucking nonsense because the beginning doesn't make any sense.
No, the entire film's nonsense because the entire film is nonsense.
Yeah, fair. It is balls to the wall, crazy most of the way through.
I guess before we get too far ahead, I'm going to give you a small synopsis. This is actually a film I don't own, so I'm not doing this from the back of a DVD cover for the first time in God knows how long.
Why don't you own it? I feel like it's exactly the kind of film that you would own.
Oh, we'll get to that.
Oh, okay. All right.
Oh,
I may have some unpopular opinions about this film. I'm just going to toss that out there now.
Okay.
An ancient hidden opal. Oh, there we go. It doesn't say opal, though. It doesn't specify.
They say fire opal.
Oh, no, I know.
During it, she what's her face? Blonde woman is like, it's
What was
fire
her
opal,
name?
and I was like, oh, that's what it is.
I know what she.
Bullshit.
Oh wait, no.
Zorro.
Oh no, I've forgotten again.
Catherine? Is something really boring, like
Amanda.
Catherine or
I don't know.
yeah.
So, an ancient hidden opal is found. Oh, there we go. It's found by Alexandra.
It was right.
You didn't let me read far enough.
You're a fucking disaster.
Who is a geologist, which sounds like a totally made up thing. Unknowingly, she releases an evil djinn from within. Who wrote this?
evil djinn.
Dr. Seuss.
A djinn from within. It's like the dove from above.
Who wishes to take over the world but is restricted until his owner makes 3 wishes.
To be fair, all djinn is evil. Not a fan of it.
Lies.
How dare you? I wondered when we were going to try and
Fucking lies.
make puns. So, I can't remember if this was discussed in the film. I'm guessing infinite wishes is off the table.
I mean, I don't think he did the whole, like, genie of the lamp, like, you
It's
can't
not
make people
discussed
fall
in the
love.
film.
Don't think there was that sequence. Like,
Well-
he didn't sing Friend Like Me at any time, so...
Well, then why did nobody wish for infinite wishes?
I think it's just a gibbon, isn't it?
No! I want the rules and regulations.
Right, actually, I think I can explain this. To be fair, their first wish, when they're like, can I have... or when one of the guys says, like, I don't want to be seeing this, and that's his wish. So he gets his eyeballs covered over. Like, I feel like if that's your first wish, you're not necessarily going to ask for infinite ones of those.
Fair point. And not actually, he sort of tricks people. They don't really realise that they're making wishes, do they?
Like, Alexandra's the only one who actually knows
And I
that
feel
she's facing a djinn who grants 3 wishes. Everyone else is kind of tricked into saying what they might like.
All right, fair.
And I feel like if you had infinite wishes, then any time you said that you wanted something
That's
fucking
true.
horrible
Right.
would happen.
Unless you're hyper
I
specific.
retract that then.
Like, I feel you'd need to, like, be really careful with your wording to get around any horrendous side effects.
Yeah, but I think a djinn's smarter than you are.
Okay, then. So we've sort of established what the rules of the wishes are. So
And that feels a
as
big
a kind of
dumb
segue,
dummy.
yeah, as a kind of segue for that from that then, because this film is sort of everyone's gonna hate me after this show. I kind of think this film is a bit of a confusing mess.
I would agree. I mean, had we paid
Right.
full attention to it, maybe
Shush. It was a rewatch. That's why we were sort of distracted. So to help me and perhaps other people like understand what's going on, can we establish like the rules of the djinn?
So
What's like the larger kind of lore?
they're from Arabic folklore, if memory serves. I did a bit of research. It seems like there's no they're not necessarily good or bad.
Okay.
It's a bit of a catch-all term as far as I'm aware. However, it has...
But specifically in this case, though, he's pretty open about being like a bad djinn, though, isn't he?
Yeah. But like I said, I think it's kind of become sort of more specific, the definition, and kind of encompasses what we now know as a genie, which is the anglicised version of
It wouldn't be a very scary film.
White people got to ruin everything.
Just saying, if it was a good gin, then it'd be a really short film.
Then it'd be Aladdin.
Just people getting what they want for 90 minutes.
That sounds like the exact sort of lockdown entertainment we need right now.
Glad someone is.
How do you feel about Gore Press Productions remaking Wishmaster?
But lovely.
But nice, yeah.
Yeah. I'm on
Just
board
like,
for that.
what do you want in all the world? I want £1 million. There you go. Just handing it to them rather than like killing their mother.
And it is just a dude called Wish M. Astor.
Yeah. What's your name? My name's Wisham Astor. And in the background, you've got a little like boy with a kazoo going.
I really like this idea. I'm not even joking.
100% on board.
I'm down for it. I'm down for it. So gins are neither good nor bad in actual folklore.
That's what I read. That's what I read earlier today. They're kind of born. They're in sort of similar. They're viewed in a similar way as humans in that they're born neither good nor evil, but it's their.
Humans are all terrible. Are you kidding?
Fair point.
Yeah, I'm a dick. I thought that, or the way they explained it in the film was that jinns come between the creation of angels and the creation of people.
Mm.
And that angels are like inherently good and jinns are like naughty tricksters kind of thing.
And humans possess both.
Humans are just a hot fucking mess.
Just absolute hot garbage.
Flaming dumpster fire of a species.
I must hold my hands up that I was looking at the Wikipedia entry and I only caught about the first paragraph of it before going, no, this is far too much information. And then I gave up. So
I'm really glad that we've all done our research.
Well, obviously, as presented in the film, they're shown to have like completely limitless power and magic. Like there's no end to what they can do, seemingly.
Mm-hmm.
But only if people ask
little
for it.
to no kind of not self-control, but they're not able to act on their own whims. All they can do
so
is,
it's never of their own volition.
Yeah, so in terms of the film itself, the lore of it is that yes, they can grant wishes to whoever asks of them. However, they need to get 3 wishes from the person that broke them out of whatever they were caught in. And once that 3rd wish has been wished, they're then capable of bringing forth all the jinn, from what I've gathered, into the human world and basically reigning supreme.
Is that where the idea of like a genie has 3 wishes and then after the 3rd wish they are free?
Yeah, I don't know how much actual like real life basis that has, or whether it was something they kind of thought of that
well, there's no real life basis
jinns
for
aren't
it, Phil.
real,
Genies don't
in
exist.
terms of the mythology.
Wait, do you think genies are real?
Do you guys
Do we need to have a talk about unicorns?
This is a far more pressing conversation that clearly needs to be had.
What about Rakshasa?
With backwards hands.
Facetious is my... Facetious is my mother tongue.
Here's my next question. Are jinns in Dungeons and Dragons?
I have not come across one yet in my campaign.
Well, no, because Rakshasa are in Dungeons and Dragons. They're like
Hindu.
lion creatures with their hands put on backwards.
I think they're Hindu demons.
I know, I just don't care.
Well, next time you start talking about something that you enjoy, I'll tell you that I don't care. Like
Films.
horror movies or being sad. I don't know.
Right. I don't like being sad. I don't enjoy it.
Rosie, I'm really sad. I don't fucking care for it, Sarah.
I want to talk to you about this thing that I'm really passionate about. Absolute despair.
It's gonna be like, no, you didn't want to talk about Dungeons and Dragons that one time, so you can get in the bin.
Well, as long as I know where I stand. What's the opposite of heck yeah? Now I'm sad. Fuck you.
Hell nah. Hell nah.
All right, you get a hell nah for that then.
How dare I came up with that. I've been hoisted by my own petard.
And I used it against you. So, in the film, djinns can, if I understood correctly, basically transform into anyone as long as they possess that person's face.
As long as they rip their face off, yeah.
Seems that way.
Is that like a... I nearly said a made-up thing for the film. It's all made up. Is that in djinn lore, or is that specific to the film? Do we know?
I mean, we're making the assumption that Phil read anything more than the first sentence of that Wikipedia article. And he's already said it. So I'm going to go ahead and say that was something that was made up specifically for the effects team.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm
happy to go with that. And the only other thing I can really remember is that they are immortal, but they can feel pain. They can be hurt.
Mm-hmm. They can be hurt because Alexandra tells the djinn to shoot himself, and he's like, "Oh, that hurt like a bitch." In exactly that voice.
That's pretty close.
Wish Master. Whilst we are on the subject of effects, how fucking good are the effects?
Mm-hmm.
I had forgotten just how good they are. I mean, obviously, all right, let's start from the beginning again. Robert Kurtzman is far more well known for his effects work than he is for making films. I think he's actually only made a handful of movies, but he's done effects work on some exceptionally high profile stuff. So he seems to be like really good at what he does.
Yeah.
And I think the effects work is my favorite thing about this film, like hands down.
By far. It's insanely good. Like the bit right at the beginning with a skeleton crawling out of a man's skin.
Well,
that was fucking
brilliant.
I love that whole opening scene was amazing. Just kind of, you think about how much work went into that single scene, and only like every single element is only on screen for like 10 seconds at most, and then it's on to the next one. There's so much budget gone into that first scene and so much effects work, and it's just chaos, and you just wish there was more of it, I suppose. Because it's so effective.
If it was just that 90 minutes.
I mean,
if it was just carnage. If it was Alpha Centauri from Event Horizon for 90 minutes.
Oh, we'll get to that later. I'm guessing you know what I mean. I don't know why Robert Kurtzman hasn't directed more. I'm guessing that's just not where his passion lies. Apparently, he also co-wrote From Dusk Till Dawn. He's worked with Robert Rodriguez a few times, I think.
Okay. And
I seem to remember reading somewhere that somebody else was scheduled to direct Wishmaster, but then the project was passed to him.
I want to say it was Sam Raimi.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
Because Ted Raimi was in it.
Ted Raimi's... briefly.
But I remember seeing that Sam had recommended Robert Kurtzman as the kind of to direct instead.
So I'm being a bit special here. What did Wes Craven have to do with it? Is it a...
Well, I think he produced it.
I think this is one of the...
Right.
Not a point of contention per se, but given that his name is attached to it so heavily, it implies a much sort of
that he
stronger influence that he actually had. Yeah. There's more of a...
when I first suggested doing this film a few months ago, because it got added to streaming in the UK, I hadn't seen this film probably since it came out, so maybe like half my life ago, which is a terrifying sentence. But I very distinctly remember seeing like Wes Craven's Wishmaster, so I assumed he had a far bigger role.
Then we hear cat scratching.
I could just hear your cat covering up her own shit.
I'm so sorry about that.
And glorious surround sound.
Imagine having to like live with it. You can't smell it.
I
via the podcast.
I have a cat.
Well, that's your dumb decision then, isn't it? They're terrible.
He is a bit of a numpty.
So, like, yes, going back to the effects work in that opening, I think my personal favourite was, like, the stomach burster that was, like, gnawing on that woman.
Just
that was my favourite.
Guy with his hand through this prosthetic.
I really enjoyed the first bit with the guy, like, turning to stone in the wall as well.
Yeah.
I thought that
was a little
really
bit Han
cool.
Solo.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit like Stuck in Carbonite, definitely. When Phil said, like, they spent most of their budget on the first
it seemed
like,
at least
minute and a half or something, I agree up to a point. I think actually they probably spent most of their budget on, like, the worse effects further on through the film.
Oh yeah.
Because a bunch of the stuff at the beginning's like physical effects, and it looks awesome. Like, why didn't they use physical effects throughout the entirety of the film instead of the weird fucking glass like CGI bullshit that they did for, like, further on?
The effects, it looks like they did it in MS Paint.
Yeah, like, I don't understand the artistic decision making behind that. Apart from,
especially,
we have the opportunity to make somebody look like they're made of glass, let's do it.
Yeah, especially when the film is helmed by somebody who works primarily in effects.
Yeah.
I can only hope it was studio interference. Because
and
if he made that decision, oof.
And having seen such awesome physical effects work at the beginning, it was a real disappointment to not see that being carried on throughout.
But I think we've had this conversation before. Like, even if practical effects aren't done very well, they age a film far less than CGI does.
Can.
All right.
Like, not to be that guy, but like...
Can I have an example of one that hasn't?
Jurassic Park.
Fuck off.
What?
Jurassic Park does not look like it was made in 2021. Come on.
No, it holds up well, though.
The CGI dinosaur is pretty authentic for saying when it was made.
The one CGI dinosaur.
I'm just saying.
The rest of them were all real.
Of course, they live where the Jins live.
But it's about how you use it, right? It's not. Yeah, you're right. This wasn't a good opportunity to actually use CGI, and you can tell.
No.
But you know, if you create a scene in the right way, you light it in such a way that lends kind of points to the strengths of CGI at the time, you can actually create. You could have created some pretty authentic computer-generated imagery at the time.
I do think they were sort of tripped up by their own talent for practical effects, though, because if the practical stuff hadn't looked as good as it did, the CGI might not have looked so dog shit by comparison. It was it didn't fit well together.
I feel like if you'd taken something like Jurassic Park and you'd used only physical effects to create a creature so gargantuan, then that by its very nature would have looked really fake. So that definitely lended itself more to CGI. But like body horror is a primarily physical aspect. Like that's something that you really need to be putting physical effects into because you want it to be very dirty and grimy and real as opposed to the kind of uncanny valley polished thing that you get with CGI.
I think my least favourite example of that was Kane Hodder's cameo. My God.
I didn't see him.
He was the security guard.
No, that was Tony Todd, wasn't it? He
was a different... Well, all right, maybe security guard is... He had a uniform on. I don't know. He was the one that wasn't Tony Todd.
What happens to him?
I don't even know. That's how poorly done it was.
Oh.
He sort of like...
Oh, was it the one where he like turned into glass and like went into the door
and then just went
the Jin walked
everywhere?
Him?
Yeah.
Yes, he walked through him and then
pinging,
he pinged.
The pinging was unnecessary. The pinging was unnecessary. It was like a really shit screen transition.
Yeah, it looked like like educational TV shows that you used to be allowed to watch at school, like Ghostwriter or something like that.
And then when they're transforming into the next scene, It like explodes out, and then you've got the next. Yeah,
No, it made me
that's
genuinely
exactly
sad.
what I thought of. Like that's not right for Kane Hodder. That's not fair for him.
No, they did him dirty. That was it was very much like this moment. This segment is just Nickelodeon's Wishmaster.
It was a really unnecessary scene as well. Like, let me in. No. Please let me in. No. Is there anything you want? I want you to go away. Oh no, he's got me. Oh, I'd love to see you try and turn me into a glass door and walk through me. I have. You are about to come a cropper. Like, that's the entire scene.
Can I also just take this moment to say that Andrew Divoff is a really fun name to say. First and foremost,
Andrew Divoff.
I've heard other people say Divoff, but that's not as fun. So I'm going to continue saying Divoff.
Divoff.
As the Wishmaster, brilliant. Hammed it up a charm.
I loved it. Like,
loved him.
He had such a like aloofness to everything. Like everything,
and just the delivery of every line.
It's the voice.
Yeah,
was
he's a smarmy guy that you want to slap in the face.
But as like the human version, oh my god, he just looked like every Wall Street douchebag ever. He looked like just the smarmiest person alive, and I hated him. But as the Djinn, great.
I desperately wanted to hit him.
Yeah, as human Andrew Divoff, he sort of looked like
Divoff. Oh, but he's human in real life, poor Andrew Divoff.
I don't care. He just looked like his hair was painted on. He looked like a great value Patrick Warburton, and I hated it. I was very unhappy.
He's wearing contacts in the film, isn't he?
He's got to be, right? Nobody's eyes are
his
that colour.
eyes aren't that like deep pools of cerulean blue.
Oh,
wow. Yeah, like he doesn't look quite right, and I think that was a very obvious choice.
Yeah,
that he doesn't look quite right.
Was his hair supposed to look painted on?
Spray painted, definitely.
Yeah, it looked a bit like, Lego hair when you just go and like click it on.
Yeah, no, I think maybe it is. I like the fact that they had like the villain who smokes, but Alexandra also smokes because there's a connection between them. Like, how fucking on the nose do you want to get with that?
What was that about? Because apparently that's something that's explored in the sequels as well. Like, the Djinn has this connection with some lady.
Huh.
Do we find out why? Did I pass out for that bit?
Well, he has a connection with Alexandra because when she's looking at the fire opal, she blows on it and rubs it.
Oh, aye.
That's what she said. But she
looked like she was gonna eat that thing for a second.
She was probably like, but yeah, so she like huffs on it and gives it a little and that's what releases the Djinn.
Oh, right. Okay.
And so she's the one that's like released him and has to give 3 wishes, and that's why they're connected. But he's like, I'm gonna fucking smoke because Alexandra smokes, and smoking's cool, and it's what villains do.
So it was just the gemologist version of rubbing a magic lamp.
Mm-hmm.
That's a euphemism if ever I've heard one. Rub a magic lamp and a genie comes out. Oh my god. I'm just hearing this all now.
Also with the euphemisms though, hot dog and a ball game.
How about hot dogs and a ball game? And in this, the voice notes that Rosie and I were sending each other last night, we both at the same time were just like, is that a sex thing?
Is that not?
What the fuck? Also, the most 90s inappropriate idea of like heteronormative
asking
coupling.
someone out.
Oh, it's just basically just like negging and stalking and borderline harassment.
Like, how's your boyfriend? Oh, I don't have a boyfriend anymore. Go out with me. No. Oh, go on.
Oh, yeah.
What? I said no. How about we go out for dinner? But I said no. But dinner? Have
What,
my
hot
hat.
dogs and a ball game?
I like the way that he gives her his baseball cap. Like that will somehow make her go, oh, the hat.
Yeah.
Oh, well, now I have to date him.
Yeah, that's clinched it.
Just what an odd situation. If somebody asked me to go out with them and I was like, no, I'm all right, you're my best mate, I don't really want to. And then they were like, no, go on. I'd be like, well, now you're not my boyfriend or my best mate anymore.
Yeah.
Get to fuck. How is this? Did that work? Do you think that used to work?
I mean, maybe in the 90s there was a lot of it about. I'm on. Oh, this is so embarrassing. I can't believe I'm about to admit this on the show. I've been rewatching Dawson's Creek from the beginning. I am currently on season 6.
Oh my
It's terrible.
goodness.
It's terrible. They portray Dawson as this dreamboat, but he's
Oh, he's such a bellend.
he's atrocious. He's borderline gaslighty and abusive in places.
Well, that
And if
doesn't
you-
surprise me because, like, Jennifer is the make of abuse all the way through.
It's awful. It's genuinely terrible. I've just been watching it,
Wine break.
hate watching it and admonishing myself for liking it as a teenager. What was I thinking? Genuinely.
It was a different
It
time.
does make me. It does make me feel a little bit more receptive to the idea of my mum being like, oh, during the 70s we used to like it when our bosses walked past and slapped us on the arse. Like,
Well, yeah, I know, like, the excuse of it was a different time is kind of an overused one.
it was
It
nice
was
to
a
get
different
wolf
time.
whistled.
Yeah,
Times do change.
it's very easy to forget how much society has changed in regards to kind of like relationships and interpersonal relationships because it's happened so
Well, I think
gradually and
that's-
going. But looking back 10, 20 years,
and that's like
Well, yeah, but
relatively
then certain
recent
things
history,
really
recent
fucking
memory.
haven't changed.
yeah, of course,
Oh,
that is
yeah.
also true.
Which makes it all the more confusing, where, like, you have evolution of some parts of, like, interpersonal relationships and not others. I find that really confusing.
Yeah.
Just, you know, be fucking nice to people and don't think that you're entitled to stick your finger up their bum. It's not difficult.
Nobody is entitled to stick their finger up anyone's bum, and I don't care if they try to tell you otherwise. Always get consent.
Without enthusiastic consent, your bum hole is your own.
And don't let anybody tell you otherwise.
If you only come away from the show with one piece of advice, let it be that.
Radio Gore Press. Heck yeah! I feel like we're doing the world a service. I'm glad you
Helping
both
them
agree with me.
consensual bum penetration.
Yeah, it's an important
Moving-
topic.
Moving along. I think it is an important topic, and I think we've given it enough attention for one show. We'll pick back up next week, perhaps. I can't believe we talked about the opening, but we didn't talk about the opening, which was the narrator.
Yeah.
And I am so
Once in
sad.
every 1,000 years.
I'm not generally a fan of narration in any film because I find it really fucking lazy. Generally.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's done really well.
Exposition.
Yeah, it's just like, I mean, filmmaking is show, don't tell, and narration is just like the worst, laziest kind of telling, isn't it?
What
I
if
quite-
you were to have somebody narrating what they were doing as they were doing it?
That's just
So
what
it's-
Show and
that's just
tell.
what
So
Twitch
it's
streams
showing
are.
and telling.
That's what every Twitch stream is, isn't it? Or have I misunderstood?
No, most Twitch streams are the person definitely showing and not telling. They don't say a
Oh.
fucking word. And you're just meant to work out what they're doing. And every so often they go, oh, gosh, damn.
Oh, you can tell I don't watch Twitch streams. However, in this case, I wish the narrator had come back. Like, why wasn't Angus Scrimm narrating the whole fucking thing?
That's an excellent
because
name.
Jim Henson's The Storyteller Angus Scrimm edition is definitely a thing that I want in my life.
I still haven't seen Storyteller. I don't think I've seen Storyteller. I don't think I have.
I haven't.
Rosetta!
Don't Rosetta me, Sarah.
Please rectify that. I think it's on streaming somewhere. I think it might be on Netflix. You'd love
On
it.
stream.
What?
I think it's on the Tinty web somewhere.
Piss off. I'm nearly 40. How dare you?
I think you're right, and I would really enjoy it.
I think you'd love it. It's whimsical and magical, but really dark and just brilliant. John Hurt.
It sounds like exactly the sort of thing that our friend Wheeze would send me a message about and say, this absolutely, yes, watch it right now. Don't stop what you're doing and watch it.
Yeah, I happen to know that Louise loves The Storyteller, and she would be very
surprise me at all.
disappointed in you.
Oh no,
So you should
don't say
watch it
Mummy Wheeze would
immediately.
be disappointed in me. No.
Watch it immediately and then message her
I
about it
try
and have
so
a lovely
hard
conversation.
to please her. She's scary when she's mad.
I know. They're very short episodes as well.
Okay. I can do short episodes.
Okay.
On that,
So,
I mean,
go on. Go on, Pip.
well, I was going to say on that note, I think, do you guys think this was kind of made as a bit of a horror fans horror movie? Considering, because we've kind of mentioned Tony Todd, we've mentioned Kane Hodder, Angus Scrimm, like there's a lot of kind of fairly heavy hitters within the genre in this movie.
I'll tell you,
really
the main
for that
reason I
long.
wanted to revisit this film was because I did a horror quiz last year, and one of the questions was which 90s slasher. I have bones to pick with the term slasher because it's not. But yeah, which 90s horror film had featured Kane Hodder, Robert Englund, Tony Todd, and Angus Scrimm, and I couldn't for the life of me remember what it was. And obviously when they went through the answers, I was like, Wishmaster, that's a film I need to revisit.
well, I mean, the question was wrong, so I'm not surprised you didn't get it.
Well, yeah. But I'd forgotten that so many... Well, actually, no, I hadn't forgotten that so many greats were in it, because I feel like when I would have watched this the first time, I wouldn't have known who Angus Scrimm or Kane Hodder were. I would have known who Robert Englund was. No, I probably would have known who Tony Todd was as well. But like, I wouldn't have got a lot of the cameos.
Is Robert Englund gay?
I am not sure. Shall I ask him?
Huh.
What makes you say that?
Yeah, can you just send him a text?
Oi,
I mean, all right, Bob, you gay. I mean, he's like super camp in this film anyway, which
he's very camp in
he's
everything.
An actor. Like he can be, yeah, but he's very camp in everything. And as much as I don't want to necessarily like stereotype how gay people act, there is a proportion of gay people who are very camp, which is why it's a stereotype. And it makes me wonder: is Robert Englund gay, or is he just quite flamboyant?
I'm not sure. I'm leaning towards flamboyant. He is very flamboyant. That's a good word, actually. And it's not one I would have applied to him before, but he's a bit of an over-actor. He sort of gestures wildly. It's a bit like playing for the cheap seats. He sort of overdoes everything.
I don't think it's necessarily like super hammy. I just think that's him.
Yeah, maybe.
I think he's like the Brian Blessed of horror.
Oh my God.
Do you know what I mean?
I do. Oh my God.
And I find it really pleasing, genuinely. Like, I love seeing Robert Englund in films. Every time he turns up, I'm like, oh, it's your boy, Bobby.
I could have done without seeing him in Strangeland. You saw a bit too much of him in Strangeland.
Yeah, I think it was the colour of the pants more than anything.
I think
they weren't the colour that pants should be.
I think it was the very sort of medical outline of his penis and
there was
and whatnot.
There was quite a lot of wang going on, wasn't there?
It was
Wang in
difficult
sharp
to divert
relief.
the eyes.
My next piece of art is going to be called Wang in Sharp Relief. Just for you.
Oh my god. So,
But yeah,
Robert England, Bobby, if you will, who was he in this? Apart from like some
I like to
collector.
call him Bobby UK.
That's his porn name.
Bobby UK.
Bobby UK.
I'm so sorry. If Robert England ever listens to this, I'm so sorry.
I'm sure he tunes in every fortnight.
I think he might. Now that I said that, he fucking will.
So, back to my question.
He is a very rich collector, philanthropist. I am not entirely sure. He is a rich man who collects old shit.
He's got a big old Pazuzu statue from The Exorcist.
Yeah, he does. Sorry, that word really makes me laugh.
Pazuzu!
I don't know. Pazuzu. It's brilliant. Fucking hell. Yeah, he's got like what looks like a member of the Terracotta Army. And various old vases and stuff, but he's like, no, I don't collect like valuable antiques. Well, they are valuable, but I don't collect pretty ones. I collect the boring ones, the boring ones that are important.
But why?
Why would you collect the boring ones?
Yeah, if they don't at least
and he
look
looks
nice.
Like he looks like the kind of man who upstairs has a lot of like abstract expressionism going on.
Oh no.
Yeah. So, is this like his dark secret? Just loads of terracotta downstairs.
Maybe upstairs it's just absolute chintz. Just crochet. Every soft surface is covered in crochet of some kind.
Like those like the sofa arms have those protectors over them.
Yeah, but granny squares.
Like doilies.
Yes. And there's at least one wicker basket.
like one of these bad boys.
Yes. People can't see that. But
it's
yes.
a doily. It's a very delicate crocheted lace doily that I've been using to paint on shit with. Just, you know, it's fine. Just throwing shit. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where he gets all of his money from. It's never really explored in the film, I don't think. He is, I want to say, some kind of professor.
Sure. That sounds right.
Because Alexandra...
I don't know enough to question that.
Goes to visit him because she knows that he knows a lot about old stuff. I'm really selling it, aren't I? I think he's a professor of something because she like deliberately goes and seeks him out as like the mind who knows about the fire opal.
Well, we know that her profession is made up because gemologist is too dumb of a word to be real.
It's not made up. A gemologist is a real thing. It's a real thing.
I do not
I'm
care
so
for
sorry. What's the profession that I really don't care for?
Teaching.
It's something like a future analyst. And it's a profession whereby people professionally predict what's going to happen in the future, like in terms of leaps in technology or science or politics or...
Are psychics just trying to rebrand?
You just make shit up.
Yeah.
You can just make shit up.
Psychic Sally's been outed as a fraud and she's just
gonna get... I think llamas are going to evolve wheels.
Babe, Seriously, anything could happen at this point. That's as likely as anything else in 2021.
As far as I'm concerned, we're all in a simulation and they've run out of all of the programs and they're just fucking with us at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, we ruined
Shut
all the
it
good
down.
ones.
Alt F4 this shit.
Speaking of, I obviously talked a little bit about how bad the CGI is and how much it dates this film. The other thing that can date a film like nothing else, technology.
It's the passing of time. Oh.
She's not wrong.
I have nothing. You're correct. You win. Let's go home.
Technology. Yeah.
I mean, it's not hackers, but it's not far off.
The gemologist's laser.
Oh my god!
Was it was very sciencey, and they clearly put a lot of sciencey looking things into it and onto the screen. So sciencey, all the science, very technological,
but
many science.
It wasn't just the words they were saying. It was the delivery of the words. It was like, you know, retro porn back when it had a plot. And just like attractive people would say intelligent sounding things. It was that quality to me. None of it sounded legitimate. It all sounded bollocks.
Made up words.
Yeah. It was terrible.
The encumberation of the laserification process has determined that the crystal contains some abnormal emission stuff.
That sounded more
so it's
legitimate.
bad.
You should rewrite this when we make our very
really
lovely
nice
version. Yeah, when we do Make-A-Wish Master.
I know it.
You can write the script.
Make-A-Wish Master.
I really want that to be
he
like...
just goes round to children who are terminally ill and gives them nice things.
Yeah, you're in charge of script duties and jackets.
That is niche.
I think that's one of my better ideas.
I'll take it. Make-A-Wish Master is my new favourite thing. I'm going to write it down so we don't forget it. Mate.
Oh, no, everybody has to enjoy writing it down in real time.
Wish Master.
Can I talk about some practical effects that I didn't like?
Yes.
Full stop.
And not because it was bad, just because it veered a bit too close to Sweaty Puppet for my liking. And
was it the guy hanging upside down with the thing hanging out his belly going?
Surprisingly not. It was it was like the first iteration of Wisham Asta when he's like little and a bit more deformed looking.
Oh,
and he looks I hate
like
it.
He looks like a kidney.
He looks like if Brundlefly and a Mars Attacks alien had a really deformed looking kid. I do not like it one bit.
He could have gone ack.
Yeah, I was waiting for that.
I'm pretty sure if we're thinking of the right thing, that was actually that iteration of Wishmaster was played by Vern Troyer, who was Mini-Me.
I should have known that because I saw his name in the credits, and that was the only little person that I remember seeing. So I should have put two and two together, shouldn't I?
It's the only one that would have fitted in that costume.
Fair.
It sounds really harsh, but I mean, it's true.
Can we talk about my other favourite character?
Who's that?
The homeless man, played by an actor called Buck Flower.
I think the only reason why he's your favourite character is because that's where you see yourself in 20 years.
That's my future. That's a glimpse into my dark, dark darkest timeline future. Yes.
Wearing a bucket hat and smearing your face on pharmacy windows.
Yes. Potentially with fewer teeth by that point. Who knows?
Fair.
I had a quick look through his IMDb, and apparently he's sort of made a career of playing homeless characters.
That's amazing.
Pretty frequently with
It's very-
John Carpenter.
John Carpenter, yeah, it's very niche.
Somebody's got to be the homeless guy.
It doesn't always have to be the same guy, though.
Wait, what?
That's acting.
What? I don't know. No, Hollywood's got a homeless guy, and it's Buck Flowers.
Yeah, no, I can't
One
disagree with
homeless
that.
guy, and they just swap him about.
Yeah. But genuinely, I was just like, that's a hell of a name. Looked him up on IMDb and I was like, I recognise that headshot. I've been on this page before.
What else has he been in? Can you recall?
No, but I can look up very quickly.
He was in The Fog.
Yes, please do.
The Fog.
He was
Escape
in
from New York.
Is he...
Oh, so he has been in every John Carpenter.
Yeah.
Has
Is
he
he
been
the
in They
guy?
Live?
Is he the guy right at the beginning who starts telling the children the old the story, like the campfire tale? Is that him? I recognise this man's face.
He was in Back to the Future.
He's got a really homely face.
He was in Mac and Me.
He looks. Oh heck yeah! Look how lovely he looks.
He looks like he'd be a really friendly uncle.
He does. He was in They Live. He was the drifter in They Live.
He was in They Live. I fucking knew it. Yeah.
He was a bum in Back to the Future.
And the same bum in Back to the Future too.
Oh, what
I mean, clearly this guy is pulling in bank from being a homeless bum.
he was.
And honestly,
He was
if
wino.
somebody offered me a decent wage to look like shit and turn up to a film set and just be drunk and belligerent at people, I would jump at the chance.
He also played homeless man in a very 90s looking film about a female Bigfoot.
A female Bigfoot. What's
a female
it called?
Bigfoot. It's called Mom, Can I Keep Her? He
What?
played homeless man in Power Rangers. I fucking love this guy.
Imagine being typecast as a hobo.
He was window washer in Executive Target.
He was
He was drunken man in Black Dawn.
janitor in Sorority Babes in the Slime Ball Bolorama.
Was he?
Wow! This guy is a
Oh my
genuine
God.
legend.
He's prolific as fuck.
Oh, he passed away, sadly. In
Oh, what?
in 2004. I'm sorry.
You build me up and then you break me the fuck down, Sarah.
It
What
was
is
a-
going on?
It was a roller coaster of about 5 seconds where my brain went, let's get him on the pot. Oh no, he's dead.
Oh, I'm really sad now.
Yeah,
The
sorry.
good ones always die.
He got some of the best lines as well. I quite liked his delivery of bald-headed baboon.
He is underrated.
Yes.
He's an underrated actor.
Except on this podcast where he's very adequately rated.
I think he's great. 10 out of 10 would recommend to friends and family.
Oh, and as a bit of a continuation from last week's show, the Cannibal Holocaust show, I would just like to say, oh no, it wasn't. It was from the minisode. It's a minisode crossover. So if you want to know what the fuck we're talking about, you have to sign up to the Patreon.
I want to know what the fuck we're talking about.
Trouts.
You have to sign up to the Patreon then, Phil.
Gin is both plural and singular. Just so we get that straightened out.
Like trouts. Gotcha.
1 gin, 2
Gin.
ginimus, 3 ginamamas,
Stop that.
4 gin tingles.
Stop that.
Never.
The thing that made me dislike the main character. Let's talk about Alexandra.
Oh, is it her face?
It was the fact that she turned down a glass of Maker's Mark. Who does that?
Oh, because she'd already clocked that was the gin. So she was like, he was
No,
like,
it was
do you want a glass of
whiskey.
Maker's? Yeah, but you're a fucking.
Yes, Sarah.
No, I'm really cross. I'm big mad at you. I'm gonna have to start referring to him as a djinn.
Just say genie. Or Wisham.
Wisham. So she already knows it's Wisham. So when he's like, do you want some Maker's Mark? She's like, no, because if I say, yes, I want some Maker's Mark, you're going to kill all my family by drowning them in whiskey.
I don't know. Free booze is free booze. You've got to weigh up your options, haven't you?
Is there any way of saying that you want something without wishing for it?
Well, see, this is it. I think that's really vague. If I say I want a pan of chocolate right now, that's not me saying I wish I had a pan of chocolate.
But you wish for it. Whereas if you said like I quite fancy a pan of chocolate, is that
which is something that works its way into my regular vernacular.
It's not a wish, but it is wishy-washy.
I'm so confused.
But then if you say I want, surely it's just a statement of how you feel rather than I wish, which is like an active sort of declaration.
If you say I want a Viscount, is that all three wishes?
Yes, I think so. I think you get 3 biscuits and then murdered.
No, you get 3 Viscounts. 3 murderous Viscounts.
That's how you go. That's how they take you out.
After your blood. I could be a djinn. I'd fuck people up. Oh, what if Matt's a djinn?
Oh no.
I think he might be.
It would explain a lot.
Yeah, he's Machiavellian as fuck.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to start being nicer to that dude.
Don't tell him that you want anything.
I won't.
Watch your back.
So how do we feel about Alexandra?
I don't feel great about her.
I'm kind of... well, I just said I didn't really like her, but I'm kind of just lukewarm. She's so
clearly
boring.
not the character that like propels the film along.
Not even
she's
a little
just
bit.
There for the ride.
Yeah, she just is present a lot of the time.
Yeah, she's. I mean, obviously, the film is about like gingery.
The Mary Poppins Wishmaster crossover that nobody asked for.
I fucking kill myself. Yeah, obviously, like the film's sort of around him and like the people that he interacts with, but there has to be some vehicle for that. So I guess she's just the vehicle for the rest of the film happening, and they have to add her in every so often.
So she's just a Mary Sue, basically.
Yeah, I think so.
Ugh.
Like, how does she get rid of him? Right, she gets rid of him by making a really clever wish, actually. Which is, I wish that the thing that made you turn up hadn't happened 3 days ago.
Yeah, you wish the guy hadn't been drunk and inadvertently squished the lesser-known Raimi.
Oh, poor Raimi. Yeah, if that hadn't have happened, then he wouldn't have turned up, and he's like, "Oh no, I'm melting," and gets sucked into the fake glass fire opal. But I mean, is that a clever wish? Can you just wish? I wish none of this had ever happened, and you'd fuck off.
What? I want to see that version.
Why didn't she just do that in the first place?
What puzzles me is that if they figure out how to defeat him in movie 1, why are there 3 sequels?
Is Alexandra in the sequel?
No, I don't think so.
No, it's a different story. Like he gets like unearthed.
It's a different bland lady.
Different times, yeah.
And it's not even Andrew Divoff from the 3rd movie onwards.
Is this like okay? So the sequel is that in the future?
What, like,
Or are you telling me that Alexandra gets rid of the gin and she's like, oh, do you know what I'm going to do with this rock? I'm going to bury it in my back garden.
Well, presume it gets re-embedded within the statue, right? Because the statue never breaks. So presumably the next movie is about the statue breaking somehow and then someone else finding that gem.
I mean... That's silly.
I can hold my hands up and say that I haven't seen any of the sequels. I have heard people say that they are nonsense.
I kind of want to watch them.
Apparently, in at least one of them, the djinn is... Andrew Divoff is replaced by Sean Connery's son.
Really?
Yeah.
I want to see that even more now.
I'm here for that.
Oh, I don't know. It doesn't look like the charisma was something that ran in the family.
I think you mean charisma.
No!
I'm not even sorry. I really want to watch Wishmaster 2. Can we do that? Can we have a group watching session?
Oh, if we have to.
Maybe. Oh, is it on Netflix? Can we Netflix party? I've never done that before. It sounds very exciting.
I've never done that before. I think attaching the word party to anything makes it sound far more exciting than it is in reality.
Why didn't we do that last night?
I don't know.
Oh.
I wish we could go back in time.
No, don't. Everyone will die.
So, there's one thing that we haven't talked about that I would like to bring up. And that is the kind of section of the film or the scene that sort of takes place inside the gem.
Mm-hmm.
And is it?
Oh, yeah.
Seems like it.
Yeah. I think that's where Oblivion might have got their...
Well, I literally wrote
basis
down... I literally wrote down Wishmaster, the Event Horizon years.
Yeah, it's pure Alpha Centauri, isn't it?
It's kind of like 50% that and 50% Hellraiser.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Have you seen any gameplay from Oblivion?
No, I don't believe so.
So the really short story is bad things that look a bit like Jinn turn up to Skyrim, wherever, can't remember the name of the land. I believe it's
pronounced Scrim.
Scrim, yeah. And set up
Angus Skyrim.
And set up gates and set up gates to their land. Which is Oblivion, and you go through the gates and you have to close them. But you go through the gates. It looks exactly like that. It looks exactly like that.
Oblivion
to the point
came
where
after.
I feel like to the point where I feel like Bethesda watched Wishmaster and went, fucking A.
We're gonna nick this idea from this film that nicked ideas.
We're gonna have a bang on that, lads. I think that's what happened.
But how do you feel about that? Do you feel it was just a bit too derivative, or do you think it was done well? Would you like to have seen more of it?
I think it was fucking nonsense.
What, the film? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the thing that maybe irked me a bit about that scene was that they clearly spent a lot of time and effort onto making that scene and that scenery, and they essentially did fuck all with it.
Yeah, I think it was on
that's her second wish. She only has two. That's her second wish, and within 5 minutes she's made the wish, gone through this weird land, and then turned up back at her. Oh no, that was her first wish, wasn't it?
It was something like,
because she wishes to go in there and then she wishes to come back out again.
Oh yeah.
I think that the first one was something like, I wish I knew what you were, or something like that. It was something about finding information about the djinn.
Yeah.
And then
so her two wishes are going to that place and coming out again, but she only spends like maybe 45 seconds there.
Yeah. I think it was really underutilized.
Like a massive waste. Actually, that could have been a really effective bit of scenery, and it could have propelled the story forward. Like, it could have gone into the lore of the djinn a lot more than they did. And I felt that was a shame, because they spent too much time concentrating on fucked up relationships and sisters telling other sisters, oh, you clearly don't like smoking, so put it out.
Oh my God.
What the fuck?
Everyone in this movie needs to go to therapy and deal with their trauma. Seriously.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely.
I will say I have one complaint about that scene that you will not hear me complain about very often. It's not a complaint I have about films. It was too well lit. It wasn't dark enough. It wasn't dark enough, literally and proverbially. And I know it's not really that film. Like, it isn't an Event Horizon. It isn't a Hellraiser. It's silly. It's far more campy than that. But I still would have liked to see it.
Kind of glowing, weren't they?
Yeah, I would have liked to see it be a little bit darker. In tone as well.
I agree. I can go with that.
Mm.
I think there was space to make it a lot darker than the entire film was actually. I don't know if they set out to make a kind of like The Gate type children's horror film.
Yeah.
But it fell into a weird midsection where I felt like it was a bit too much for a kids' horror film, but it wasn't quite enough for an adult horror film.
Yes, and I think that's one of my biggest complaints about it.
They didn't sort of do it enough, or they didn't dial it back enough to make it like happy-go-lucky, kid-friendly kind of thing. Like, it sat in this weird limbo that was maybe a little bit frustrating.
That's fair.
Yeah, I agree with that completely, actually. I don't know if you guys have got much more to say, or now is a good time to wrap up, perhaps.
I am happy to wrap up. I think
I've got much more to say.
I enjoyed. Do you know what? Despite everything that I said, I did enjoy the shit out of the film.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah, I did. I really enjoyed watching it, and I felt like it was silly and it was funny. Potentially not for the reasons that they necessarily would have wanted.
Yeah.
But it was fun. It was fun to watch. It was a good way to spend 90 minutes. I would totally tell other people to watch it, despite its faults. So
yeah,
I think it's a good one.
Okay. I would say this is where I'm going to get piled on. I don't really like this film very much. I remember enjoying it far more the first time around, but I think that was when I knew. Well, I hadn't seen as many films. I had less basis for comparison. And I'd forgotten a lot about it. So I was almost seeing it with fresh eyes. And the way people talk about it, the way they hype it up, it didn't meet that for me.
Do you think that's why you didn't like it, though? Because other people had hyped it up?
Maybe. I knew it was going to be silly, but I think I expected more from it. I think... Do you know what it made me think of? And this is going to be deeply unpopular. There's a film called Faust, Love of the Damned.
Right.
Funnily enough, Andrew Divoff is in that as well. But tonally, it's quite similar. It's sort of, I think it was based on a comic. I think it was loosely related to the Spawn comics. Maybe I might be making that up.
Oh,
but it's,
okay.
Like Jeffrey Combs is in it. If I remember rightly as well.
Todd McFarlane, or did he just do the figures for it?
Both, I think.
I know that he did the figures for it.
It's a Todd McFarlane character.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But Faust Love of the Damned it's fucking terrible. But in terms of like mediocre to terrible 90s films featuring like main characters with rubbery faces that also feature a higher caliber of effects work than they deserve, then this is only a notch above Faust for me. And I know that's going to be an unpopular opinion because I've seen how highly people talk about this film. I think it's interesting that it's got 27% on Rotten Tomatoes. It got 1 out of 5.
Oh, really?
On the Empire website. Yet, it's got 5.8 out of 10 on IMDb, which isn't that bad for a horror movie. And 89% of Google users liked this film. So it seems like it was completely critically panned, but the audiences seem to love it.
Oh, so you'd place yourself within the critics rather than the...
Oh, God, no. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Lowly people who like to watch horror films.
Fuck no. No, I watch some absolute trash, and I love some absolute trash. Like, Body Melt,
like
for
Step Up
example.
2.
Step Up 2 is an unsung masterpiece. How dare you?
Do you know, I can't even joke. I fucking love Step Up 2.
It's great. It's genuinely great. No,
All
I'm
the
not.
Step Up films are great.
I'm not for a second suggesting that my opinion is the correct one. Like, it's just an opinion. It's just an opinion.
Yeah, no, of course. And I completely appreciate and like understand your opinion as well.
I do, however, think there is a lot to enjoy here. I think the effects work is absolutely top notch. It's worth watching for the effects work alone. I think some of their set pieces are phenomenal. It's worth watching for Andrew Divoff's performance and his delivery. Like I could sit and listen to him deliver lines for a lot longer than 90 minutes.
I feel like if you got and watched this on VHS,
okay,
then you would enjoy it a lot more. Do you know what I mean? Because like VHS films, you pick them up with the anticipation of them being a bit shit. And having that kind of really heavy 90s like gaze over the entire film, and people just not being particularly great actors because it didn't really matter at that point, and like the storyline just being fucking mental. Like Wishmaster to me feels like a VHS film rather than a. So like Alien, for example, doesn't feel like a VHS film to me. That feels like a big screen film. That feels like a
cinematic.
You know, like a absolutely.
Yeah.
This feels like go down to Blockbuster on Friday evening and rent it out and go back to your shitty little TV and plug it in and like eat some popcorn and watch Wishmaster. Like that's what this film feels like to me.
And I completely agree with that analysis. Like I think I mean it was probably right at the tail end of that kind of glory era for VHS, wasn't it? It was probably like one of the films that
97?
kind of bookended
97, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I completely agree with that assessment. And like I say, it's just my opinion. I just don't love this film.
That's fair.
That's cool. That's cool. I still like you.
Oh, thanks.
I can see why. I can see why. Like I knew very little about this film. Not even.
Was it
really
actually? We didn't talk about this. Was this a first time watch for you?
Yep.
Okay.
First watch for me.
That surprises me.
Yeah, well, I'd heard of it, but I hadn't really heard anything about it. Had someone said, "Oh, this is like a horror comedy," or had I known even a little bit, I think I would have been disappointed because, you know, as soon as like a benchmark has been set, then I've got other films to like compare it to.
Yeah.
Because I went in completely blind.
Yeah.
I ended up kind of enjoying it because I wasn't expecting like Brain Dead or any kind of other sort of horror comedy films.
Well, I've never viewed it as a horror comedy.
Okay.
No, I haven't actually.
Hypothetically, like or dark fantasy, like whatever you might think of it as, you know what I mean? Though there was no preconception there.
Dark fantasy, maybe actually, but and I think that's probably the closest. Dark fantasy body horror is what I would probably tag it as.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. I think if somebody turned around to me and had said when I first saw it, "Oh, you need to see this horror comedy, like it's laugh a minute kind of thing," and then I'd watched it, I would have been sorely disappointed by it. As it happened, I remember really enjoying it back when I first saw it, and actually I think I enjoyed it more now because I remembered specific points from it, but for the most part I'd forgotten what happened. So again, I was going into it quite blind.
I woke up this morning.
Such a long time.
I woke up this morning having forgotten a lot of what happened again.
I mean, maybe that's the biggest problem with it, though. It's just not very fucking memorable.
Some of it is, some of the set pieces, and actually even the creature design is quite memorable.
Yeah. Snapshots are memorable, but like the film as a whole,
it's not super cohesive. It's not super.
I couldn't give you a timeline. I couldn't give you a timeline for what happens when.
No, I do think it's really interesting though that it was sort of panned on release and it's having this real renaissance again now. I wonder why.
I'm glad. I think they deserve it.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's for saying it's not a horror. I think maybe I've got a horror mindset because, like I said before, there's so many horror faces in there. And not only that, Finney, Beaumont, Derleth and Merritt are all named after famous horror authors.
Yeah.
Like there's a definite kind of horror prestige there. You know, there's references to Lovecraft as well. One of the phrases they use is a spoonerism of creature from the Cthulhu mythos. You know, there are sort of plenty of elements within the horror within the film that point to the horror genre.
I think it's a horror movie. I think it is a horror film. I just think it's like it leans more into dark fantasy than it does like a straight horror. I think it definitely, obviously, physically has horror elements, and I think the story in itself, like the idea that you can ask for anything that you want, but something terrible will happen when you do, like that's prime for a horror film. But I wouldn't, if somebody said like name 5 horror films, like this definitely wouldn't be one of them.
Gotcha. No, I misunderstood
Wishmaster, Wishmaster 2, Wishmaster 3,
Wishmaster 2, Electric Boogaloo, Wishmaster 2 Fast 2 Furious.
Yeah, like I really enjoyed Andrew Divoff. Like I think even I really enjoyed him in his human form as well. Like I said, there's some moments in that when he just seems.
I guess somebody has to.
Sorry, he just seems so like detached from whatever the person he's speaking to is saying. He's kind of going through the motions of like, oh, really? Is that true? And it just seems so pitch perfect for this like centuries, millennia-old being that's.
Are you trying to say that you like sociopaths?
No.
Uh-oh.
I really related to him.
I mean, you're basically describing my interaction at work earlier. That's how we all human now.
True story. Me and Sarah, best friends, have been for over 10 years. I bumped into Sarah on the high street once, and it was without doubt the most awkward interaction I'd ever had with another human being in my entire fucking life.
Hello,
like,
how are you?
Hello, how do? Shake hand. Well, I've got to be, very busy, got to be going. It was so weird. It was so awkward. I messaged her as soon as I left. I was like, that was fucking weird.
What was that? Yeah.
It was not cool.
It's just unexpected interactions that I can't deal with. I have to be prepared.
I was like, can I have a hug? And you were like, hug. Yeah.
I'm definitely not robot.
Watch me walking with my human leg.
But yeah, I think this is back on. Get us back on track.
Sorry.
This is a film that I think I wouldn't recommend to anyone. That's not because I don't enjoy it, but it's because I think it's a film.
You want to keep all for yourself.
Yeah, exactly that. It's a better film to like happen upon rather than to be recommended. Because I think as soon as someone recommends you, that sets like
it builds that little bit of hype.
You've got a precedent there that I think you'll kind of probably be disappointed by.
Which again harks back to what you were saying about it being a good VHS watch, because that's exactly how we all used to discover films. You just pick something off a shelf, not knowing anything about it.
This says horror, this sounds cool, let's give it a bash.
And it's rare that happens now, because we can look everything up immediately. So yeah, that's kind of... I'm glad you had that experience, actually. That sounds like a good way to watch it.
Yeah.
I feel like... streaming sites like Netflix are still quite good for that, because you can, it's like a virtual video store basically, isn't it? Like you go to the horror section and you can read like a little back of the video synopsis of what the film's about and then decide if you want to watch it or not.
But the beauty of things like Netflix and Prime are that the blurbs are so poorly written.
I was just about to say
even if you read it, you don't know what film you're going to watch.
I just like some of the shit they come out with.
I'm not convinced anybody who works for Netflix has watched the films that they are writing these blurbs about. Oh, there's a lady.
No.
This is about a girl. Oh,
This is about, like Finding Nemo, this is about a fish who
goes
has a
missing.
fun time in Australia.
And he finds himself. It's a spiritual journey.
Finds himself / his father.
He goes to a yoga retreat. Anyway, on that note, I think
It's been a blast. I'm so glad I'm back, you guys.
Yeah, us
I'm
too.
glad you're back. I mean,
My
it's.
babies.
I think we've held down the fort pretty well, but it's not the same, is it?
Admirably.
Yeah, it's not the same.
I think you guys have been fucking great.
This has been a really good
But-
time.
But I'm glad it's all three of us.
Yeah. Cool.
Cool.
On that note, thank you guys for listening, and we will catch you in a fortnight's time.
See you later. Stay spooky.
Stay spooky.